Hi, good morning, everyone. So, this brings us to the part two of the project cost and control. Let's understand the project control part of it. Okay, so control requirement says you have to control it via through planning, clear responsibilities, expenditure control, timely auditing, and estimate updating. Effective control requires that the organization and systems be designed to suit the needs of the project before the start of the implementation phase. Actual time, cost, and performance must be compared with that planned variances identified and control action taken where necessary to bring performance within tolerance. So, as and when you see your project is going beyond, so if you remember in the planning phase, what we have decided is the baselines. Baselines are your targets. In project management, baselines are what you are targeting for or aspiring for. Best case scenario that you have planned in your project, that you have planned in your planning phase. Now, whole of the execution phase is all about meeting the baselines or the this is also your reference point. Now, if you have fever or if you do not have fever, you would define it through normal body temperature, which is 36.7 degrees Celsius. That is your reference point. Now, if you need to decide whether your project is ahead of the schedule, is in good shape, is within budget, so you need some reference point. That reference point is that baseline. Let's say it was for third day of the project. Uh, Whatever was the duration, scope, and cost, you need to see through that reference if it is beyond schedule, ahead schedule, or behind schedule. That is the use of baselines. Okay. Yes. Through planning, clear responsibilities. If we recall, with respect to clear responsibilities, we create a thing called RACI metrics. RACI. What is RACI metrics? R stands for responsible, A stands for accountable, C stands for consult, and I stands for informed. Responsible are the guys who will actually perform the work. Accountable is the person who would be held accountable if work is not getting completed. Whom you should hold accountable. Consult is consult. Informed is informed. So let's say if you have a team of 5 developers working on a project of development, these 5 developers are responsible party, and the one who is team lead is the accountable party, who is accountable for managing these 5 developers. So that is how you calculate the responsible parties and accountable parties. While a responsible party can be more than one, accountable party will only be one person. Now, this is as per books. In an ideal scenario, yes, that's how it should be. But because we do not live in an ideal world and organizations have certain challenges, so you may come across accountable parties also more than one. But that is just from the point of view of risk management and not in uh, just to manage risk if that one person is no more in the organization or is unavailable or is extremely sick. However, as per in theoretical aspects, responsible can be more than one, accountable only one. I hope this point is clear. Then let's go to expenditure control, timely auditing, estimate updating, extremely important. What do we do? What do we control in projects? First, we measure. If you cannot measure anything, you cannot manage it. That is being that's quite a sort of in management consulting we use this term quite often. If you cannot measure it, you will not be able to manage it. So first is measuring. So you see here measuring. Then once you measured, then you will do an analysis. Analysis is whether you are ahead of the schedule, behind the schedule, on schedule, behind, on, ahead of schedule. Let me explain here. So first is measure. If you cannot measure, you will not be able to manage. Second is analysis. Analysis is whether you are on schedule, ahead, or behind. For cost, on budget, cost overrun or cost saving mode. So you need a reference point. That reference point is baseline. Okay, then reporting, create a report out of it, and what are the control actions you are going to take. Measurement of progress is how much progress we have made, how much we have spent, how many man hours did we burn last month, how are we performing, anything else that is worth considering. We need to see the information in a clear, concise format using systems and techniques capable of indicating variations. Extremely important. Standard approaches to progress reporting, written reports, data capture performers, reporting multiple activities can mask problems within specific ones and reduces the problem of booking work against alternative work breakdown structure codes. So these things are important to measure the that's how these are standard approaches to progress monitoring. First is written reports, data captures, reporting multiple activities, and reduces the problems of booking work against alternative work breakdown structure code. So once you open Microsoft project tool, you will have all the activities, activity 1 2 3. You can measure the progress 50%, 80%, like that. So you can mark it how much percentage of work completed, and you get this information from your team who is actually working on the job, executors. Standard approaches to progress reporting are highlight reports, capture reasons for any deviations, vital the data obtained in a timely manner, critical path, and Microsoft project in a web-based environment. What is critical path? The longest the path of the duration is known as critical path. Okay, be skeptic. Have you finished it yet? How do you reply? Very nearly. So there, it should not be very nearly. It should be how much it is completed. 50%, 60, 80, and it should be documented well with evidences. One of your job as a project manager is asking questions like what, when, where, how, who, what, when, where, who, how much. So these are the questions. Why? So why, what, where, when, how, who, how much? 1 2 3 4 5. So once you have this kind of information, once you ask or probe uh, your concern in asking these questions, what, where, why, what, when, where, how, who. You get answers that you need to fill in your sheet to get the results. Even when there is a lot still to complete, understanding time to complete is human nature. A number of approaches are commonly used when assessing progress. 75% complete prior to it being 100% complete, 0 to 50 or 100% rule, like that you can use. Project control analysis: identify areas of slippage, identify budget issues, deviations, etc. Identify problems with critical activities, determine the cause of the variances, evaluate the impact on the project objectives, and earned value analysis. We have thing called planned value, earned value, and actual cost. Then based on that, we have few parameters like planned value, earned value, actual cost, and then you have parameters like schedule variance, uh, cost variance, how much is the variance in schedule, how much is the variance in cost, and then you have schedule performance index, and then you have cost performance index. We will discuss them in detail. Okay. EVM technique is used to track the progress and state of a project and forecast that likely future performance of the project. Simply a tool for monitoring and controlling project methodology, which enables the proper and integrated evaluation of cost trends in order to support the estimating of cost to complete. Integrated includes scope, schedule, and cost. Actual cost data is related to the value of the work actually performed. This integrated analysis enables the project team to better analyze the accrued cost. So there are, as I said, there are three parameters. One is planned value, budgeted uh, planned value, earned value, and actual cost. So planned value says budgeted cost of work scheduled, and then you have AC, which is budgeted cost of work performed. Okay, so first you have planned value. PV is budgeted cost of work scheduled. Then you have EV, earned value, budgeted cost of work performed, and then you have AC, which is actual cost of work performed. So let me write that over here. PV planned value, budgeted cost of work scheduled. Then you have EV, earned value, which is budgeted cost of work performed. And then you have AC, actual cost. It says actual cost of work performed. Schedule variance formula is earned value minus planned value. Cost variance formula is earned value minus actual cost. Schedule performance index formula is EV upon PV. Cost performance index formula is EV upon AC. If S if SV is negative, behind schedule. If SV is positive, ahead schedule. SV equal to 0, on schedule. Similarly for CV, negative, over budget. CV, positive, under budget. CV equal to 0, on budget. Similarly, you have schedule performance index. Less than 1. Schedule performance index greater than 1. And schedule performance index equal to 1. When it is less than 1, behind schedule. Greater than 1, ahead schedule. Equal to 1, CPI less than 1, CPI greater than 1, CPI equal to 1. Poor, which is over budget. CPI greater than 1. Under budget. Equal to 1. On target. So these are your so you calculate, these are the formulas. Schedule variance is equal to EV minus PV, earned value minus plant value. Cost variance is equal to EV minus AC, earned value minus actual cost. Schedule performance index is equal to EV upon PV, earned value upon plant value. Cost performance index is EV upon AC, earned value upon actual cost. And these are your variations. Of them, the favorable one is this and this, positive and 0. Similarly, in cost variance, again positive and 0. In schedule performance index, for the favorable one is greater than 1 or equal to 1, or CPI again greater than 1 or equal to 1. I hope this is clear. So now in your daily life, you will not be calculating it using pen and paper like the way we are doing it right now. We will be using Microsoft project tool, and it will show you the results in fraction of seconds by just a simple click. But then it is important that you understand the concepts. Okay, let's move ahead. Just a second. We covered this part, which is EVM technique is used to track the progress and status of a project, simply a tool for monitoring and controlling. Methodology which enables a proper and integrated evaluation of cost trends in order to support the estimating of cost to complete, and integrated includes scope, schedule, and cost. Okay, earned value requirements. Proper WBS. The whole scope is divided into a number of smaller chunks. Those small chunks are known as WBS, and then they are further divided into activities. Baseline budget control, baseline budget control accounts, baseline schedule, work measurement by control accounts, work hours, pounds, units, etc., and good project management practices. Earned value analysis can be performed on the entire project, a work package forming part of the project, and individual task, a group of selected tasks such as all those tasks for a particular discipline, all those tasks in a particular area. WBS and work package. If you see, sorry, apologies, just a second, let me go on this part, we go on this. I go on these parts, let me, yeah, project control, here. Okay, WBS, yeah. If you see, each one of them, if you just zoom in enough, you will see cost and duration. So we have to calculate on a daily basis, are we on track with respect to cost? Are we under budget? Are we over budget, or we are within budget? Or in terms of schedule, are we behind the schedule, ahead of schedule, and on schedule? So these two factors need to be calculated for each activity. EVM, three-dimensional measurement, planned value, earned value, actual cost. We discussed just now. Let's say, now understand what I'll do. I'll just discard, I'll go here, I'll take and let's take it to here. Now what is being said over here, if you see, this is your plant. Which one is your plant? Let me use a different color pen. Okay, let's take orange. If you see, this is your plant value or your baseline. Baselines in management term can be or being used in a different way. Baseline in project management is your target, which you have planned. This is what baseline is. Now you have earned value, budgeted cost of work, uh, scheduled is PV, budget cost of work scheduled. EV is budgeted cost of work performed, earned, and AC is actual cost of work performed, as we have discussed earlier. PV, budgeted cost of work scheduled. EV, budgeted cost of work performed. AC, actual cost of work performed. So I think this is clear. Now let's understand from here in this. If you see, your project will never be as per planning. It will have variations because in real life we have variations. So you see earned value. The formula for earned value is, the formula for schedule variance is EV minus PV. This is giving you schedule variance. The formula for cost variance is EV again minus AC, actual cost, because if you see the green one is actual cost graph. So that's how you calculate. So this is the real life graph, and from there comes the formulas. And then this is management reserve. Management reserve is something which you have kept it to management. The example of 100 crore project, 20 cr was kept at program level. This is management reserve. Just a quick recap of the last video, and out of that 80 cr, the project manager is working on it, however have kept 10 cr separately, which is known as contingency reserve. Okay, this is BAC, budgeted at completion. BAC, budgeted at completion. This is estimated completion, hence EAC, and this is estimate to complete, it is known as ETC. And this is variance in completion, it is known as VAC. So you have, apart from schedule variance and cost variance in this graph, we discussed schedule performance index and cost performance index. Apart from that, other few factors or few definitions are budgeted completion, how much you have budgeted for real life scenario. EAC, estimated completion. At the time of completion, what is the estimate? And difference of BAC minus EAC will give you variance at completion. And when the project is still going on and it is not completely finished, if you want to calculate something over here when the project is still in progress, you check it through ETC, estimate to complete. I hope this is a little clear now. This is how the, okay, let me minimize that again. This is how we discussed this graph. This is how the project progress S curve looks like: planned period, actual, forecast, planned cumulative, forecast cumulative, actual cumulative. Then you have manpower histogram, actual, baseline, forecast, cost phasing histogram. This is, if you see, uh, time cost relationship, accounting variances. This is the difference between the budgeted cost of the work schedule and the actual cost of the work performed to date. AV, accounting variances, ACWP, which is actual cost of work performed, minus BCWS, budgeted cost of work scheduled. So you have three lines. The black one is budgeted cost of work performed. The red one is budgeted cost of work scheduled, which is your planned, and green is ACWP, actual cost of work performed. Now, if you see the accounting variances, the difference of actual cost of work performed, if you just extend this a little bit like here and here, so the intersection is here, which is ACWP, hence the formula is ACWP minus this one is budgeted, this one is budgeted cost of work schedule, and here again you have a formula over here. Let me, my face is coming, I think. Give me, I hope it is, this graph details are visible now. If you see here, it is again three colors. BCWS red is budgeted cost of work schedule planned. Then you have ACWP, actual cost of work performed, and then you have BCWP, budgeted cost of work performed. Planned, actual, and earned. Schedule variances. So there are two formulas. One was schedule variance was earned value, okay. So one formula we studied was schedule variance is equal to earned value minus planned value, and another formula is schedule variance is equal to BCWP, budgeted cost of work performed minus budgeted cost of work scheduled. And if you see, BCWP is nothing but earned value, and BCWS is nothing but planned value. Similarly, for cost variance, the formula was earned value minus actual cost. So schedule variance is BCWP again, budgeted cost of work performed, which is earned value, and minus ACWP, actual cost of work performed, minus AC. And the last formula is accounting variances, CV minus SV. CV is cost variance minus SV is schedule variance. So I hope this is clear now. Some criteria: we expect actual cost to be below the planned value. This means that we have spent less for the completed than estimated. If the actual is higher than the planned, it indicates that we are over budget. Quite simple and obvious. Okay, let's understand this again. So normally, as I said, you will not be calculating this on your own because you have tools and it will be done via tools, but it is important to understand cost variance. Let's say this. Uh, Again, you have two lines in this graph. One is planned or budget, which is blue, and then you have actual, which is red. Budgeted cost of work performed, budgeted cost of work scheduled, actual cost of work performed, and at the end you have FAC, forecasted completion, on the red side, and on the blue side you have budgeted cost of work performed, budgeted cost of work scheduled, and at the end, budgeted at completion. Cost variances, the formula is, the formula for cost variance over here is, if you see, AC and ACWP. Okay, so cost variance formula is budgeted cost of work performed minus actual cost of work performed. For schedule variances, budgeted cost of work performed. Let me highlight that. This and this gives you the difference. The difference gives you cost variance. This and this will give you the cost schedule variance. The budget cost of work performed minus BCWS gives you schedule variance. BCWP minus ACWP gives you cost variance. It says it is about halfway through the project. Today we were supposed to have completed exactly half the deliverables. In fact, we have only completed 40%. We were supposed to have spent 525,000 units by now, but we have spent 675,000. So we are 150,000 over budget. So that is the calculation which is coming out of it. Okay, some cost control terms: committed cost, value of all works and expenses contained in contracts, cost exposures, accounted cost, accrued cost or value of work done. Sunk cost is the cost if the project fails is gone. Important point: sunk cost is if the project is failed. Okay. If the project is failed, and if you, let's say, if you kill the project, the amount of cost you will never be able to recover. The amount of cost that you will not be able to recover is sunk cost. Gone. Sunk cost is, let's say you are constructing a building, the foundation. This foundation, let's say the project is 10 years long. You are in the 5th year and you realized that there is no benefits of completing the project further. So although, so there are, so whatever investments you have made in 5 years, purchase of land, machines, etc., etc., they can be recovered if you sell it. But foundation, gone, done. This is known as sunk cost. Estimate to complete: the best estimate at the cutoff date of further expenditure necessary to complete the project. Estimated final cost or forecast is the projected cost at project completion. Some earned value management terminologies: BCAC, budgeted cost at completion; BCWS, budgeted cost of work scheduled; PC, percentage complete; BCWP, budgeted cost of work performed; ACWP is actual cost of work performed, and estimate to complete is BCAC upon CPI, budgeted of budget cost at completion upon cost performance index. So these are various formulas, but as I said, you will not be using it on daily basis, on pen and paper basis, because you will be using software tools to calculate all these information for you, but you need to know what does the term says and how to use them. BCWP, budgeted cost of work performed. BCWP calculation should be based on the actual physical progress achieved. According to the formula, BCWP is equal to physical progress percentage into BCAC. Need to think carefully about how you measure actual physical progress. BCWP analysis. Compare the BCWS with the BCWP. If budget cost of work performed is greater than budget cost of work scheduled, project is ahead of schedule. If budget cost of work performed is less than budget cost of work scheduled, project is behind schedule. If ACWP, actual cost of work performed, is greater than budgeted cost of work performed, project is overspending. If actual cost of work performed is less than budgeted cost of work performed, project is underspending. We have understood it through these calculations which were given here. SV negative positive 0, CV negative positive 0, and SPI equal to 1, less than 1, greater than 1, and again CPI equal to 1, less than 1, greater than 1. I hope this point is clear. Okay, cost variance. We understood cost variance calculates the deviation between the cost actually incurred and the planned cost. It checks whether we have gone according to our budgeted cost or not. Financial performance of the project, difference between the BCWP and the ACWP. Cost variances, budget cost of work performed minus actual cost of work performed. If the cost variance is positive, then the project is thus far below budget. CV0 on budget, and negative is over budget. Similarly for schedule variance, I think we have discussed them again and again, so let's move ahead. Again, schedule performance index we discussed, greater than 1, less than 1, equal to 1. And what are the meanings if it is less than 1, greater than 1, or equal to 1? We discussed that. Okay, earned value performance indicators. Common to track the performance indicators over the project duration. At the start of the project, that the indicators will vary significantly, but over time they will usually settle down and provide a good representation of the project performance. The project manager will be looking for trends. Take when calculating the CPI SPI for the overall project. Just so earned value performance indicators are common to track the performance indicators over the project duration. The start of the project, that the indicators will vary significantly, but over time they will usually settle down and provide a good representation. The project manager will be looking for trends, upward, downwards, within cost, under budget, like that. Take when calculating the CPI SPI for the overall project. Cost performance index and schedule performance index. Okay, so there are quite a few terms. One of them is FCAC, uh, forecast cost at completion. FPT is forecast project duration, and EPT is estimated project completion. So if you see, the formula for FCAC, forecast cost at completion, is BCAC upon CPI, and forecast project duration is EPT, estimate project completion upon schedule performance index. So yes, other performance indicators are uh, cost, schedule, safety, project profitability, risk measures, human resource, development of knowledge, customer satisfaction, and environmental performance. This is important. The more performance indicators that you include, the more effort you will need to expend on measuring these performance indicators. So It should not be too complex. Recommended is 4 to 5 key performance indicators. And let's say if you want more than 4 to 5, so keep key performance indicators 4 to 5 for first few months, and then replace it with the new ones or the other ones. Some may be relatively objective measures: safety and environmental performance, cost, schedule, and profitability. Others will often require a more subjective approach: team morale, customer satisfaction. This subjective approach, subject to interpretation, measures can be taken to make these more objective. Okay, key performance indicators are: as the project environment changes with different emphasis on success, it is likely that these wider performance indicators will permeate through more and more projects. Some projects have over 40 performance indicators. Inevitable that there will be a hierarchy with some indicators being more important than others. Definitely, as I said, so it's better that you r- keep rotating the KPIs than sticking it to the first few ones or having too much on a plate at one go. This leads to the separation of key performance indicators and other performance indicators. And last is, as a general rule of thumb, you should avoid having more than 15 KPIs on a project. Okay, reasons not to use earned value. I can't understand the terms, too complicated. Commercial software project, if you have. I have a fixed price construction project. The cost will exceed the benefits. I have more data than I can use now, and I used a CS scrap before, etc. But you should use it and understand these terms well. EVM quote: earned value provides fundamental project management. While you can practice good project management without EVM, you cannot practice EVM effectively without good project management. Given by Crowther, 1999. Project reporting: it is essential to have a system in place to report performance to the wider community, which includes management, key stakeholders, project team itself. The project manager requires all performance data from the different areas, elements that make up the project departments, subcontracts, etc. She also needs this data compiled to give a holistic picture of the total project performance. Yes. Therefore, project reporting is extremely important. Project decision making: from the analysis, the PM will have to make decisions on what to do next and what, if any, corrective action he needs to take. As a minimum, he will have to update all the forecast. Project decision making is crashing the network, causal mapping, and scenario analysis. Okay, act early. If you see this graph, this is your planning, implementation, and completion. Level of influence. The level of influence to bring any change in the project is higher at the planning phase. In implementation or execution phase, it is lower, and at the completion is definitely zero because project is already completed. So the level of influence is higher at the planning phase. Also, cost of change in the planning is almost zero at the planning phase. Look at this cost of change, zero here. Why? Because nothing has been done on the field now. So cost of change is almost zero. But as and when you are going with the implementation, you have purchased a land, you have created the diagrams or the architectures that have been approved by the government, layouts, etc. So now the cost of change is higher in the implementation phase. At the completion phase, cost of change is way too much. You cannot do any changes at the completion because anyway that is completed. So it is recommended that if you want to bring or influence any change in the project, do it at the start, not Do not wait at the end for the end, and hence it says act early. If you want to make changes, as early as possible. I'm sorry for that. It's giving some. Okay. No, wait a minute. Today I love it. 10 toes in, giddy. I'm a big stepper, underground rapper. Make changes as early as possible. Okay, gain commitment. Avoid people feeling dumped on. Do not put too much on the planet right at the first go. Speak to the person going to perform the work. Can they actually deliver to the modified plan? Explain to them why the change in plan is necessary, implications of not making the change, etc. Reassign people who may be underutilized. Delays possible as staff that are familiar with the task are trained up. Adding resources only effective when the correct resources are added. Expectation management. Okay. All right. So these are some of the examples. We will discuss it later. So this brings us to the closure of project cost control. Expectation management says worth considering whether or not to inform the customer about this matter if your project is going haywire or is not on schedule. At least inform your important stakeholders internally, and based on that consensus, give the information to the customer and with a backup plan. Help their planning cycle. A delay of 1 week may not have serious implications if they are informed with sufficient notice of the delay. This will allow the other organizations involved within the project to reschedule their plans and thus minimize cost to the client, resulting from resources being booked but not utilized on the job. Avoid confrontation at the point of delivery and build trust between you and the customer. So the trust comes through regular communication. All right, so this brings us to the closure of this discussion, project cost and control. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.